When you guys first read the script with time-traveling DeLoreans and flux capacitors, what did you think?
It was a great script. I mean, I always had a strange sense of humor, so the idea that I got to play a character that was madly in love.
The success of Back to the Future came at a cost no one talks about. While the film became the highest-grossing movie of 1985, earning $398 million and reshaping pop culture, its cast faced battles that unfolded far from the cameras. As the movie marked its 40th anniversary in 2025, long-hidden tensions, personal struggles, and shocking behind-the-scenes stories resurfaced. In 2026, what became of the stars of Hill Valley, and what truths were buried during the making of a classic? Join us as we reveal how the Back to the Future cast are doing now. Michael J. Fox, from Marty McFly to Parkinson's Warrior. Michael J. Fox was just 23 years old when he first starred in the Back to the Future trilogy as Marty McFly, the skateboarding teenager who accidentally travels back to 1955 and must ensure his parents fall in love to preserve his own existence. Michael brought an infectious energy and charm to the role that made Marty one of cinema's most iconic characters. Following the massive success of the Back to the Future trilogy, Fox continued acting in both film and television. He went on to make his return to television in 1996 as Mike Flaherty in Spin City, which ran for 6 seasons and earned him 3 Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. The show demonstrated Fox's ability to carry a sitcom with the same charisma that had made him a movie star. However, behind the scenes, he was dealing with a devastating diagnosis. In 1998, Michael revealed he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 7 years earlier, in 1991, when he was just 29 years old. The degenerative neurological disorder causes tremors, rigidity, and difficulty with balance and coordination. For an actor whose career had been built on physical comedy and energetic performances, the diagnosis represented a profound challenge. Rather than retreat from public life, Michael chose to become an advocate for Parkinson's research. In 2000, he founded the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, which has since become the largest nonprofit funder of Parkinson's research in the world, raising more than $1 billion to fund research and develop improved therapies. His decision to go public with his diagnosis helped reduce stigma around the disease and inspired millions of people dealing with similar challenges. Michael continued to act, appearing on TV shows such as Rescue Me, The Good Wife, Boston Legal, Scrubs, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Each role demonstrated his refusal to let Parkinson's define or limit him. His work on The Good Wife earned him 5 consecutive Emmy nominations, proving he could still deliver compelling performances despite his condition's progression. Michael, now 64 years old in 2026, is also the proud father of 4 children with his wife, Tracy Pollan, son Sam Michael, and daughters Aquina Kathleen, Skylar Francis, and Esme Annabelle. Tracy, whom Michael met on the set of Family Ties where she played his girlfriend, has been by his side since they married in 1988, providing unwavering support through his Parkinson's journey. In recent years, Michael has focused more on his foundation work and writing. He published his memoir, Still a Michael J. Fox Movie, in 2023, which was adapted into an acclaimed documentary of the same name on Apple TV+. The film offers an intimate look at his life, career, and ongoing battle with Parkinson's, using clips from his extensive body of work to tell his story. Michael continues to make appearances at Back to the Future reunions, despite the progression of his Parkinson's disease. At the November 2024 Rhode Island Comic-Con reunion, Michael received a standing ovation when he appeared on stage, arm in arm, with Leah Thompson. The reception was so overwhelming that it brought tears to the actor's eyes. During the Q&A, Michael reflected on the trilogy's legacy, admitting he didn't know what he was getting into at the time, but calling the first installment one of the few perfect movies ever made. Most recently, at the October 2024 LA Comic-Con, Michael reunited with Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson for a Back to the Future panel. Cast members posed for photos and discussed making the trilogy. Michael and his Back to the Future co-stars remain close friends decades after filming wrapped, especially with Christopher Lloyd. That brings us to the next cast on our list. How is Christopher Lloyd faring? Doc Brown, at 86 and still working. Before Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd was best known for his role as Reverend Jim Iggy Ignatowski in the sitcom Taxi, for which he won 2 Emmy Awards. His portrayal of the eccentric, spaced-out former hippie showcased his gift for playing quirky, offbeat characters, a talent that would serve him perfectly as Doc Brown. As Dr. Emmett Brown, Christopher created one of cinema's most memorable mad scientists. His wild white hair, manic energy, and perfectly timed delivery of lines like "Great Scott" became instantly iconic. Christopher affected a hunched posture to lower his 6 feet 1 inch height closer to Michael's 5 feet 5 inches, demonstrating his commitment to making the on-screen relationship work visually as well as dramatically. Albert Einstein and conductor Leopold Stokowski inspired Christopher's wild, white hair for the role. The combination of Christopher's theatrical background and his willingness to fully commit to Doc Brown's eccentricities created a character that transcended the typical movie scientist stereotype. Doc Brown became a fully realized person whose genuine friendship with Marty formed the emotional core of all 3 films. Following Back to the Future, Christopher built an impressive filmography that showcased his versatility. Christopher has appeared in films such as Clue, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Addams Family, and Dennis the Menace. In Who Framed Roger Rabbit, he played the villainous Judge Doom with a menacing intensity that contrasted sharply with Doc Brown's lovable eccentricity. His 2 Addams Family films as Uncle Fester demonstrated his gift for physical comedy and his ability to play gleefully strange characters. Throughout his long career, Christopher has maintained an extraordinarily prolific work ethic. He's appeared in over 200 films and television projects, continuously working decade after decade. His dedication to his craft and his refusal to slow down have made him a Hollywood legend. Christopher, now 86 years old in 2026, shows no sign of slowing down. He continues to appear in film and television, including a notable appearance as Professor Orloff in Netflix's hit series Wednesday. His cameo in the Addams Family adjacent series introduced him to a new generation of fans who might not have been familiar with his extensive body of work. Christopher is set to make additional cameos in Season 2 of Wednesday on Netflix in 2025, demonstrating that Hollywood still values his unique talents and screen presence. The continued demand for his work speaks to both his enduring appeal and his maintained professionalism across 6 decades in the entertainment industry. Christopher has been married 5 times throughout his life. He tied the knot with real estate agent Lisa Loyacono in 2016, having met her when she sold his house 4 years earlier. Their relationship demonstrates that finding love is possible at any age, and their marriage appears to be his most stable and lasting relationship. Looking back on the trilogy, Christopher has said he is still amazed by how deeply the films affected young people. The character of Doc Brown has become a father figure to multiple generations of fans who have found inspiration in his eccentric brilliance, dedication to science, and genuine friendship with someone decades younger. Christopher's performance showed that mentorship and friendship can transcend age differences. At the October 2024 Back to the Future reunion at LA Comic-Con, Christopher appeared energetic and engaged despite being 86 years old. His continued participation in these fan events demonstrates his appreciation for the franchise that made him a household name and his understanding of what Back to the Future means to millions of people worldwide. Let's move on to another cast member who made Back to the Future a masterpiece: Leah Thompson, Lorraine Baines, McFly's remarkable career. One of the most interesting casting facts about Back to the Future is that Leah Thompson was the same age as her on-screen son Michael J. Fox when they filmed the original movie in 1985. Both were born in 1961, making them just 24 years old during production. Yet Leah convincingly played both the teenage Lorraine Baines in 1955 and Marty's middle-aged mother in 1985, showcasing her remarkable range as an actress. The filmmakers became aware of Leah Thompson while researching Eric Stoltz in the comedy drama The Wild Life. Her performance caught their attention, and when they needed someone who could play both a demure 1950s teenager and a worn-down 1980s mother, Leah proved perfect for the role. Her ability to convey Lorraine's evolution from hopeful young woman to disappointed middle-aged mother, and later to happy, successful mother in the altered timeline, gave the film emotional depth. Leah brought humanity and pathos to what could have been a one-dimensional role. Her portrayal of young Lorraine as infatuated with Marty created some of the film's most uncomfortable yet comedic moments, while her depiction of the downtrodden 1985 Lorraine made the stakes of Marty's mission feel real and urgent. Following Back to the Future, Leah went on to star in the sitcom Caroline in the City in the 1990s, which ran for 4 seasons from 1995 to 1999. The show earned her 3 People's Choice Award nominations and proved she could carry a television series as the lead actress. Her comedic timing and ability to ground even the most absurd situations served her well in the sitcom format. Leah also starred as Catherine Kenish in the TV series Switched at Birth, which ran from 2011 to 2017 on ABC Family. The show dealt with serious issues including deaf culture, class differences, and identity, and Leah's performance as a wealthy mother dealing with discovering her biological daughter had been switched at birth earned critical praise. The role showed her dramatic range and willingness to tackle complex, nuanced characters. Beyond acting, Leah has pursued directing, helming several episodes of various television series. Leah is also the proud mother of 2 daughters, Madeline and Zoe Deutsch, both of whom have followed her into acting careers. Zoe Deutsch has become particularly successful, appearing in films like Zombieland, Double Tap, The Politician, and Not Okay. Leah has also maintained a positive outlook on aging in Hollywood, speaking openly about the challenges older actresses face, but also celebrating the opportunities to play more complex, interesting characters as she's gotten older. Her continued work demonstrates that talented actresses can have long, fulfilling careers beyond their youth. Next on the list, we have one of the members with the most striking transformation. What makes this cast's life particularly different? Thomas Wilson, Biff's surprising transformation. Thomas F. Wilson deftly handled the role of Biff Tannen, a high school bully whose behavior hasn't changed in the 30 years that follow, playing not just Biff, but also his grandson Griff Tannen in 2015, and great-grandfather Buford, Mad Dog Tannen, in the Old West. His ability to play 3 generations of the Tannen family demonstrated impressive range, giving each character distinct mannerisms while maintaining the family's genetic predisposition toward bullying and cowardice. According to a 2012 article, the rise in popularity of the Back to the Future series led many people to repeatedly ask Wilson questions about the films and his co-stars. Because he found the repetitive nature of the questions to be both amusing and frustrating, he wrote a song about them titled Biff's Question Song, which he includes in his stand-up routine. The comedic song addresses common questions like, "What's Michael J. Fox like?" and "Do you have a hoverboard?" with humor and exasperation. Beyond Back to the Future, Wilson played Coach Ben Fredericks in the comedy series Freaks and Geeks from 1999 to 2000, appearing in the critically acclaimed but short-lived show that launched the careers of James Franco, Seth Rogen, and Jason Segel. He has also become a prolific voice actor, voicing various characters, mainly villains, on the animated series SpongeBob SquarePants from 2001 to present, and voicing Cecil Starr, Patrick Starr's father, in the SpongeBob spin-off The Patrick Star Show. Wilson hosted a podcast called Big Pop Fun on the Nerdist Network from 2011 to 2014, featuring stories from his career and informal chats with show business friends. He maintains a YouTube channel where he regularly vlogs, and as of April 2025, his channel has over 44,400 subscribers. His bio reads, "I make films when I can. I also make paintings, songs, and stories. I went pro at arts and crafts." In August 2025, Wilson, now 66 years old, was photographed looking nearly unrecognizable during an outing in Los Angeles. He stepped out in a casual navy blue t-shirt and dark cargo shorts, his shorts splattered with paint from arts and crafts projects. His icy white hair and reflective sunglasses rendered him almost undetectable to casual observers, a far cry from the dark-haired bully audiences remember from 1985. Wilson continues voice acting work, recently appearing in projects scheduled for 2026, proving that at 66, he maintains an active career across multiple creative disciplines. This list would definitely be incomplete without Crispin Glover. Where is he today? The enigmatic George McFly. Crispin Glover drew on many of his own mannerisms to portray George McFly, the nerdy 1955 high schooler who grows into Marty's cowardly, submissive father. His unique approach to the character, the awkward physicality, the distinctive laugh, the nervous energy, made George McFly one of the most memorable aspects of the original film. During filming, Crispin vocalized his objections to the film's ending, believing it to equate material reward with moral success. Crispin hated the fact that the supposedly happy ending revolved around the McFlys getting rich. He didn't think that filling their happier timeline with money and material possessions sent the right message. Zemeckis ignored his complaints, creating tension on set. In his 2025 memoir Future Boy, Michael J. Fox recalled how his co-star Crispin Glover created friction behind the scenes with his scrambled approach to portraying George McFly. Fox wrote, "Nobody puts Crispin in a box." But that didn't prevent the camera crew from literally building a box around him. Fox recalled filming a scene where Crispin wouldn't stay on his mark, wandering perpendicular to the camera rather than following the planned blocking. Despite these creative differences, Crispin's performance was universally praised. His transformation from awkward nerd to confident father became one of the film's most satisfying character arcs. However, due to these initial disagreements and a salary dispute, Crispin did not return for either of the Back to the Future sequels, and his role was taken over by Jeffrey Weissman. The salary dispute has different versions depending on who tells the story. Producer Bob Gale claims Glover demanded $2 million, while Glover says they only offered $125,000. Whatever the actual numbers, they couldn't reach an agreement, leading to Glover's absence from the sequels. In Back to the Future Part 2, Zemeckis reused brief footage of Crispin that had been filmed for the first film. The older footage was combined with new footage of actor Jeffrey Weissman wearing a false chin, nose, and cheekbones, along with various obfuscating methods. In the background, wearing sunglasses, rear shots, hanging upside down, to play George McFly. Because these methods suggested that Crispin himself had performed for the film, he successfully sued the producers on the grounds that they had used his likeness without permission, as well as not having paid him for the reuse of the footage from the original film. This landmark case led to changes in Screen Actors Guild rules, protecting actors' likenesses, and set important precedents for the use of actors' images without their consent. After Back to the Future, Crispin pursued independent films and worked with directors he admired, including David Lynch on Wild at Heart and Hotel Room, Dennis Hopper on Chasers, and Milos Forman on The People vs. Larry Flint. He deliberately chose roles in films that questioned the status quo rather than pursuing mainstream Hollywood success. In the late 1980s, Crispin started his company, Volcanic Eruptions, which publishes his books such as Rat Catching, and also serves as the production company for the films he has directed. What is it? It is fine. Everything is fine. And no, you're wrong. Or Spooky Action at a Distance. These films have never received traditional theatrical releases. Instead, Crispin tours with the films, holding screenings in theaters around the world, along with his live performance Crispin Hellion Glover's Big Slide Show. Crispin, now 61 years old, keeps a much lower profile than his Back to the Future castmates. He rarely appears at Back to the Future reunions, preferring to focus on his independent film projects and touring performances. In May 2025, Crispin was photographed shopping at a local garden center during a bike ride in L.A., wearing an all-black look, including a black bucket hat and sunglasses that rendered him nearly unrecognizable. Crispin continues acting in select projects, recently appearing in the horror film The Third Parent and the surreal drama Mr. K. Fans, attending his recent appearances, have noted how little he's aged since his George McFly days. Each tour event features Crispin Hellion Glover's Big Slide Show, a dramatic reading of several of his self-published books, followed by a screening of his films. What transformation has Claudia Wells, another cast member on Back to the Future, undergone after leaving the franchise quite early? Claudia Wells in The Changing of Jennifer. Claudia Wells' first movie role was as Marty McFly's girlfriend, Jennifer, in Back to the Future. She brought warmth and chemistry to the role, making Jennifer feel like a real girlfriend rather than just a plot device. Her scenes with Michael established their relationship in a believable, charming way that gave Marty's journey emotional stakes. However, Claudia put her career on hold and did not appear in the sequels after her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. She made the difficult but admirable decision to step away from a major franchise role to care for her ailing mother, demonstrating her priorities and character. She was replaced by Elizabeth Shue in Back to the Future Part 2 and Part 3. Shue brought her own interpretation to the character, though the role remained relatively minor in the sequels. The recasting required reshooting the ending of the first film for the beginning of Part 2, one of several changes made between films. Claudia returned to acting in 2011, appearing in various independent films and television projects. Her last film credit was for a 2019 movie titled Vitals. However, the 58-year-old beauty recently appeared at Fan Expo Dallas with her Back to the Future co-stars in June 2025, reuniting with Christopher Lloyd for photos and fan interactions. A photograph from Fan Expo Dallas showed Claudia Wells with Christopher Lloyd, both looking happy to reconnect with fans and each other. These convention appearances demonstrate that even actors who appeared in only one film of the trilogy remain connected to the Back to the Future legacy and appreciated by fans. Still, not every story tied to Back to the Future ended in celebration, and for some cast members, the journey after Hill Valley took an unexpected and far more personal turn. The iconic DeLorean and Hill Valley sets. The DeLorean DMC-12 wasn't originally the time machine Doc Brown built in early script drafts. The time machine was supposed to be a refrigerator. However, Zemeckis and Gale realized this could encourage children to climb into refrigerators, so they changed it to a car. The choice of the DeLorean, with its distinctive stainless steel body and gull-wing doors, proved inspired, making the car inseparable from the film's identity. Several DeLoreans were used during filming, with different cars modified for different purposes, one for driving scenes, one for the time travel effects, and one for close-ups. The cars featured numerous additions including the plutonium chamber, flux capacitor, and all the tubing and circuitry that made the time machine look like a mad scientist's invention. In 2016, the Out of Time, Saving the DeLorean Time Machine documentary film was released and presented the efforts of Bob Gale, Universal Studios, and a team of fans as they worked to restore one of the original screen-used DeLorean time machines. A 2021 documentary titled Expedition: Back to the Future featured Josh Gates and Christopher Lloyd searching for and restoring an original DeLorean used in the film, with appearances from several original cast members. The Hill Valley Town Square set was built on the Universal Studios backlot and remains one of the most recognizable movie sets ever created. The clock tower became an icon of the franchise, representing the fixed point in time where Marty must harness lightning to return to 1985. The attention to detail in creating both the 1955 and 1985 versions of the town square helped ground the film's time travel concept in believable reality. Toyota and Universal Pictures celebrated the 30th anniversary of the film series with a Toyota Tacoma concept that was inspired by the original 1985 pickup that Toyota created for the film. The 2016 Tacoma was recreated using the same features and black color paint trim, KC Highlight driving lamps, modified headlights and taillights matching the 1985 version, and customized license plates, matching the 2015 vehicles in Part 2. But the celebration of Back to the Future didn't stop with nostalgic recreations or collector tributes. The franchise soon found a new way to travel through time, this time on the stage rather than the screen. The musical legacy and franchise expansion. A musical theater production, Back to the Future. The musical debuted in February 2020 at the Manchester Opera House in England to positive reviews. The musical was written by Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis, with music written by Alan Silvestri and Glenn Ballard. Gale described it as the best way to give fans more Back to the Future without adding to the film series. The musical opened on Broadway in 2023 and has been praised for capturing the spirit of the films while expanding the story in ways that work specifically for the stage medium. The musical extended its West End run through July 27, 2025, at the Adelphi Theatre in London, going into its 4th year. A North American tour opened in Cleveland, Ohio in June 2024 and ran through cities across the U.S. and Canada until August 2025. In 2024, director Robert Zemeckis said he was interested in adapting the musical into a film, similar to what was done with the producers. He told the Happy Sad Confused podcast, "I would like to do the Back to the Future, the musical movie. Yeah, just like the producers. I would love to do that. I think that would be great." However, Zemeckis noted that Universal Studios doesn't get the idea, so nothing has moved forward. When asked about the potential for a 4th film, Bob Gale has consistently opposed the idea. In February 2025, Gale reiterated his opposition, saying, "People always say, 'When are you going to do Back to the Future 4?' And we say, 'F you,' making his position unequivocally clear." Zemeckis has illustrated his stance at various fan conventions, stating, "The idea of making another Back to the Future movie without Michael J. Fox, that's like saying, I'm going to cook you a steak dinner and I'm going to hold the beef." Christopher Lloyd has stated he would consider making a 4th film under the condition that the original cast and creative team return, along with a story worth telling. However, with Fox's Parkinson's disease making action sequences impossible, a traditional sequel remains unlikely. Which cast member's journey from 1985 to 2026 do you find most inspiring? Do you think a 4th Back to the Future film could ever work without Michael J. Fox in an action role? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.